Can we really get rid of all the worthless, damaging waste for good by dumping it into the volcanoes? Well, we hate to break it to you that this seemingly perfect idea is easier said than done. Part 1. Statistics. Globally, humans produce over 2 billion metric tons of waste annually, and that number is only expected to grow. You see, by 2050, we could be generating more than 3.4 billion tons of waste per year. With landfills reaching capacity and the environmental impact of improper waste management becoming ever more apparent, alternative waste disposal solutions have gained attention. One outlandish idea that has been floating is using volcanoes to dispose of trash. Part 2. Science. Even before we start hauling garbage to the nearest volcano, we need to consider the science to find out what kind of volcano might be suitable. There are two main types to think about here: shield volcanoes and stratovolcanoes. Shield volcanoes, like those found in Hawaii, are relatively slow and steady in their eruptions. Stratovolcanoes, on the other hand, are a completely different beast. These volcanoes are more explosive as their magma is rich in silica, making it thick and dense. This magma traps gases, building up pressure until it blows, often with devastating force. Think Mount St. Helens or Krakatoa. The idea of dumping waste into these ticking time bombs is a recipe for disaster. So if we were to dump waste into a volcano, we would want to target shield volcanoes with lava lakes. However, these are relatively rare and tend to be located far from human populations, making the logistics of transporting waste a significant challenge. Part 3. Dangerous hustle. Most active volcanoes are located in remote areas, far from cities where the majority of trash is produced. Transporting trash over long distances would not only be incredibly expensive, but it would also significantly increase our carbon footprint. The fuel required to haul millions of tons of garbage would negate any potential environmental benefits from incinerating the trash. Once the trash arrives at the volcano, we'd need to find a way to safely deposit it into the lava lake. This is easier said than done. Lava lakes are notoriously dangerous, with temperatures ranging from 700 to 1200 degrees Celsius. And approaching the edge of a volcano is dangerous, as it is often unstable, releasing toxic gases and prone to sudden eruptions. Part 4. Harsh truth. Well, what happens when trash meets lava? The real fireworks begin when cold trash meets superheated lava. Lava lakes are dynamic and unstable, with a semi-solid crust floating on top of a molten rock. Introducing foreign objects, especially cold solid objects like trash, into this environment can cause a thermal shock. This sudden temperature difference creates pressure explosions as the outer layer of the lava shatters and releases pent-up gases. In 2002, a group of researchers in Ethiopia threw a 30-kilogram bag of trash into a lava lake as an experiment. The result was an immediate explosion, flinging molten rock and gas into the air. Now imagine dumping millions of tons of trash into a volcano. The explosion would be far larger and more dangerous. Part 5. Pollution. Even if we somehow manage to avoid catastrophic explosions, burning trash in a volcano would still create significant environmental problems. Can't you imagine? Trash is made up of a variety of materials: plastic, metals, rubber, and organic matter, many of which release harmful gases when burned. Modern waste incineration plants are equipped with sophisticated filters to capture toxic emissions like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and dioxins, preventing them from entering the atmosphere. Volcanoes, on the other hand, have no such filtration systems. Burning plastic in a volcano, for example, would release large quantities of toxic fumes, including phosgene gas and hydrochloric acid, which are harmful to both humans and the environment. Part 6. A Titan shock. Another misconception about volcanoes is that they can melt anything. Actually, does it? While lava is incredibly hot and can incinerate most organic materials, it's not a universal solvent. Certain materials such as metals and ceramics have melting points higher than the temperatures found in most lava lakes. For example, steel melts at around 1370 degrees Celsius, which is above the average temperature of a lava lake. These materials would easily float on the surface of the lava or sink and remain partially intact. Part 7. Hefty price. Aside from the logical challenges and environmental hazards, there's also the issue of cost. Transporting trash to remote volcanoes would be an incredibly expensive pursuit. The energy and resources required to haul millions of tons of waste to these remote locations would be astronomical, and the environmental impact of transportation alone would be massive. Number 8. Square 1. Why not use incineration for energy? If we're going to burn our trash, it makes more sense to do it in a controlled environment where we can capture the energy released during combustion. Waste-to-energy plants are designed to burn trash while also generating electricity. These facilities are equipped with advanced filtration systems that capture harmful emissions, reducing the environmental impact. In fact, many countries are already using waste-to-energy technology to reduce landfill use and generate power. Sweden, for example, has become a leader in waste-to-energy, with some cities even importing trash to keep their WTE plants running. By incinerating waste in a controlled environment, we can reduce the volume of trash while also producing electricity. While the idea of dumping our waste into volcanoes might seem like an elegant solution, the reality is far more complicated. Volcanoes are dangerous, unpredictable, and inefficient as waste disposal sites. The logistical challenges of transporting trash, the risk of explosive reactions, the environmental impact of toxic emissions, and the inability to completely destroy certain materials make this a highly impractical option. Part 9. An alternative. Alright, let's say for fun that we decided to shoot our waste into space instead. Seems like a breakthrough solution. Well, think again. Shooting waste into space is another outlandish idea that, while seemingly simple, comes with massive challenges. The most glaring issue is cost. Launching anything into space is expensive. To put it in perspective, sending just 1 kilogram into low Earth orbit costs around $10,000. Now imagine the expense of launching millions of tons of waste annually. The fuel and infrastructure needed to handle this would be astronomical, both in financial and environmental terms. Then there is the risk factor. Space debris is already a growing problem, with thousands of defunct satellites and fragments orbiting Earth. Launching waste into space could add to this clutter, creating hazards for spacecraft and satellites. While space seems limitless, the logistics, environmental impact, and economic cost make it a highly impractical solution. Frankly, the best path forward is through thoughtful and innovative waste management strategies that minimize environmental harm and make better use of our planet's resources. What do you think? Comment down with ideas of your own. Bring out that genius in you. Oh, since you enjoyed watching, make sure to stay connected with us by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. With more mind-blowing content, we'll return to you soon.